have this solenoid valve, we have the feedback sensor for the movement of the actuated piston. We have a level sensor shown here, so we know that we have a chamber full of oil. So we have the cylinder lubricating oil over this side, and we have the hydraulic power supply system over this side. Excuse me. As the signal is sent to the solenoid valve, we will use a spool inside here to allow pressure to force our actuated piston and charge the chamber here, or chambers, using the plunger to force the lube oil into the liner itself via the non-return valves. We have a spacer and setting screw for the pump stroke, so we have a fixed amount of oil going in. It is the frequency of the injection, not the quantity of oil, where we get our feed rate from. Okay. The setting ring here, or the spacer ring here, is specific to this lubricator. So again, when you are overhauling more than one, ensure that you keep the parts to this specific lubricator so you don't mix them up. They are said there may be a small adjustment, small deviation between the components, but still that may be enough to not get the correct lubrication cycle for that unit. Okay. So we have this feedback sensor, so we know we have a movement here, and we have a level sensor. Why, gentlemen, why do you think we have a level sensor for the lubricator?
To make sure the flow is there on the line.
Yes, because if you remember with the alpha lubricator, we were using the lubricating oil for the activation of the lubricator. Here now, when we are using the hydraulic power supply system pressure for the activation of the piston, and we are injecting lubricating oil. So we want to make sure that we are actually injecting lubricating oil. If we get a signal to operate, then this will move, and we'll get a feedback to say that I'm injecting. Without this sensor functioning here, or sensor attached here, we do not know if we're injecting anything at all. Therefore, we have it. Okay. If you have a failing feedback sensor here, so and a failing feedback sensor here, or no movement here, you will get a slowdown. So of course, you will still be having the engine run, but then you have a unit that is not having any lubricating oil. Any slowdown or any failure of the CCU, there was a question a little bit earlier, any failure of a specific unit, or if you're cutting a unit out and you need to then you need to do this setup here. We need to put in a backup cable, and the backup cable is connected directly to the solenoid valve on the affected unit, and then you can see it will be connected to the ECU A channel 52 or ECU B channel 52. So you have two possibility for backup lubrication: channel 52 in ECU A and channel 52 in ECU B. Now, when you are connecting the cable for backup lubrication, it is random lubrication. So therefore, it will be just injecting lube oil into your unit. It will be not aiming or not injecting into the ring pack, or the top or the bottom or wherever. It will just lubricate. Okay, not against RPM, not against load. It will just inject at a random algorithm. So we're just ensuring that we are getting some sort of lubrication in there. Okay, so you need to keep that in mind when you are running with backup cable connected. Okay. How we make the changes?
This is what is emergency lubrication which we talked earlier.
Yes, this is the emergency lubrication.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have a failure of the CCU, or you have a slowdown or something like that, not a failure of the lubricator itself. If the lubricator fails, then the cable is useless. Okay, so if it's not anything that it is nothing to do with the lubricator itself, if you're cutting the unit out, cutting off the fuel, and the piston is still moving inside the chamber, then you need to have the cable set up. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
How we are adjusting, Francis, he spoke through this yesterday when we are talking through the lubricating religion, if you want to call it, the procedure for you guys. So we will make the adjustments in here. Later, or in a little while, we'll go through the service letter for running on ultra low sulfur fuel. So of course we will be adjusting the minimum feed rate, the feed rate, and it will be running on 0.6, the lowest of all, the lowest we can go. Okay, any breaking in, any additional adjustments will be made by the feed rate adjustment factor, or if you're doing the running in, then we will do the running in here. Question, which will be faster, easier, change the failed CCU or setting up the emergency lubrication? The cable should already be manufactured, and the cable is quite easy to run from the solenoid to the ECU. The only problem with that is that you have to make sure it goes into the cabinet via a cable gland. Don't just put it in through the the cabinet door and close it. That doesn't count. So you need to ensure that you have the time there. If you are running with zero lubrication on a unit, depending on the engine size, design, and the speed and load you are running at, you should have at least 10 to 15 minutes. That is enough time for you to take action on what's going on. I'm not saying that that you won't have any damage to the engine, but you have around about 10 to 15 minutes to take action to safeguard the unit and the engine. Okay. So if you cannot, no matter how good or how qualified or unqualified you are, if you cannot carry out the task within 10 to 15 minutes, then you need to shut the engine down and do it like that. Okay. Of course, if the captain says, no, we're going to go, then that's his call. And then you just have to just smile and get ready to do some work when you get to anchor or port. Okay. Cool. So we all know why we have lubrication. Excuse me. We all know why we have lubrication. We are interested in trying to find this sweet spot, this love-hate relationship, neutralization of the sulfur, and also wear inside the unit. We want to have wear in our liners, so we have somewhere for the oil to stick. If the oil didn't stick, it would just slide down like spraying oil onto a glass or mirror. So we want to have some sort of open, porous surface face on the liner, but we don't want too much wear, otherwise we'll cause damage, and we don't want to have zero wear, or else we'll also cause damage. So we want to find that happy medium, and we are looking around about 0.6. You can go higher and lower. It is always up to you guys, but we say 0.6. Okay, if you don't do 0.6, then this is something that will have to be discussed between other people. 0.6 gives us a nice wear rate and also a nice dosage rate. Okay, we know that spares are actually cheaper than oil, and oil is more expensive, but it depends on the theory and the practice that your company is working on. The service letters we're going to go through now. We're going to have a look at service letter 671. And we can also see here we have this market update for you guys. So the market update is just telling you what service letters are available depending on what setup you have. For the lubrication, the cleaning, the scrubbers, the rings itself. So we have some information about the new ring types and the 2020 sulfur cap in detail. We're going to have a look at 671 today, and we're going to talk through what we should be looking at. 587 is still relevant, and the reason why is that there are some vessels, or a majority of vessels, still running on heavy fuel oil. When they're running on heavy fuel oil, Of course, if you have a scrubber or you're running in, then you need to use 5